Alright, so after a long battle with FedEx and Rock Auto, I finally got a rebuilt transfer case from Mopar. I know that's a tangled web already, right? But so this is a Mopar rebuilt transfer case. They shipped it like crap, so that broke. But I can still put it in. So they put the motor in and that in there. So I know there can be some issues when you put that stuff in if it's not lined up right, and you kind of have to do a relearn. Or well, I shouldn't say I know that. I've seen people say that, but I didn't have to put that in, so I'm not going to be much help with that, but you can at least see the process of putting it back in. Again, I'm not a mechanic, so I am not trying to give any advice to anybody. I am just showing the procedure as I do it, and this is one I definitely don't know much about because I'm learning as I go. I've never done a transfer case before, so the best place to learn might be from the comments after it's all done and posted, and people will be telling me what an idiot I am for doing certain things. I sprayed a little bit of lube in there, just that same chain lube that I've been using, just so it goes in a little easier. But this is definitely going to be the hardest part because I got to try and muscle it up there. Okay. Oh, and I put the driveline right in the way. I have to go to the back and move it. Or maybe I can do it from there. Oh, the goal here is to line this up with that, which is not going to be easy because it's heavy. But as you can see right now, I've got it backwards. I'm going to try to put it up. I've got the driveline pushed all the way back. I did have to lower half the exhaust to do that. So I'm just giving myself as much room as I can. And then I'm just going to lift it up the smallest way possible, because once it's up there, you should be able to spin it just fine. So I'm going to lift it up lengthwise, so this is basically hanging down. Then once I get it on, then I'll just spin it around so that this end is over here. The only reason why I ended up with it like this is because I didn't want to drag this motor across the ground, so I dragged it upside down. So I don't know what you're seeing right now, but hopefully it works out to where you can actually see what I'm doing. If not, I'll just have to describe it. So I gotta try to slip the jack underneath it. If you got someone to help you, you'd probably be much better off. But I never have any help. Nobody gives a shit about me. I help everybody else. They don't help me. I'm sure many people understand how that goes. But hopefully I get lucky for this, because this is my girlfriend's Durango. So maybe I can talk her into giving me a little something special tonight. And by maybe, I mean definitely. I mean in a non-rapey way. I mean, she can still say no, but she better not, right? You know what I'm saying? It's a joke. All right. Okay, so I wiggle it onto their jack. Oh, I'm probably going to smash my phone in the process here. Okay, I did not wiggle it onto the jack because it fell right off. Gosh, if I was a little bit skinnier, I could probably just get underneath the sucker and bench press it right in there. Oh, there it goes. Gosh, keeping it on the jack's the hardest part so far. So maybe the plan of doing it lengthwise is not going to work, because the exhaust is right there. I don't have any way to jack it up that way. Okay. So now I gotta figure out how to flip it back over. Okay. So right now I am balancing it with my arms and jacking it with my foot. And I guess one thing advice I can definitely tell you is don't be underneath this son of a bitch. Because that'll be a bad day. That might be your last day. Man, it's not working. So far I am failing this entire task. So far the only thing I've managed to do is scratch all the new paint on it. I don't know why they even painted it. They don't come painted from the factory. They don't come painted on new cars. Mopar decided to paint this one. Like the crappiest paint ever. Okay. I always kind of make fun of myself in my videos because I breathe hard. But this time I'm earning the hard breathing. Okay. Okay, that's a start. I got it in the big part of the hole. Oh, sucker. Which is coincidentally what I'm going to try and convince the owner of the car to do later. I don't care which hole, honestly. I mean, I have a preference, but okay. I think I've got it high enough. Probably start wiggling it. Well, maybe not. Try to get it about level. Oh, okay, so I'm starting to lift the car now. I don't want to do that. So, being very careful not to get my head underneath it, I am now attempting to get it lined up with that shaft. Oh boy. Oh, it's trying to fall on me. Okay, I think I got it lined up. Okay, maybe not. This is definitely going to be the worst part of the show. Only way anything could be worse is if I have to take it back out after this. Then that would definitely be the worst part of the job. Because that would suck. Okay, so once I wiggled it onto the shaft, then it got pretty easy to move around. And then it's on. Just like that. Okay. So that was more scary than anything. I have no idea right now what you guys all saw, but it is on. So you can kind of see. I obviously need to turn it and line the holes up, but it's there. So I just jacked it the best. So what I said in the first place about putting it in lengthwise did not happen. Actually put it in just the way it goes. So the front drive shaft on the driver's side, the best center of gravity's right here, kind of where the case splits in half. And just kind of jacked it up until I got the shaft close, stayed out from underneath it, and once the shaft was lined up, I just wiggle it right on. So hopefully that's the hardest part here. Now I just got to turn it, line up the holes, and I'll start a couple bolts. The bolts did not have anything on them from the factory, like no Loctite or obviously no grease because they're rusty as hell. So I've debated about this. I like to I like to either grease bolts or Loctite bolts. That way the threads don't end up like that. So I decided to do blue Loctite. So someone might tell me I'm an idiot, and you might be right. But that's my plan, because I don't want them to come back out, and I don't want them to rust. But the first couple I'm going to do without any Loctite or anything to make it easy to get them in there. Let's see if I can get it lined up so you can see what I'm doing again. Still don't know if you saw it in the first place or what the camera showed. So still be careful not to get under it, but it should be pretty well supported at this point. That shaft should be holding it up, as long as you don't let it slide backwards. Yep, and just wiggle it. Okay. Once I have one bolt hole in here, I will be a lot less scared. Or one bolt in, I'll be a lot less scared. Because right now I am actually still very worried about this falling on my head. Okay, that's one bolt. I'm gonna get 2 bolts in there, and then I'm really gonna feel safe. Okay, there it is. Now I should be able to line up there's like some dowels in there. I'm not sure. I think I will put one in the top. And do as many threads as you can by hand. Or I'm doing as many threads as I can by hand. That way I know I got a good solid grip on this thing. And it will not fall on my head. And then should be able to kind of shake it on there and get the dowels on. Or maybe I'll use the jack. There we go. Okay, that's about even there. Okay, so now it's flush. These bolts were just for a safety measure, really. That's as far as I could get them in by hand at the time. Now I can twist them like crazy. So I'm gonna put Loctite on all of them and start them all. And I still have to look up the torque specs. I know they were pretty freaking tight putting them in or pulling them out. But I'm not gonna show the Loctite and putting the bolts in. That's pretty simple. I'm not sure if I'm going to look up torque specs, so you might have to look up your own torque specs, or maybe I'll put them in the comments. But for now, I am just going to start putting stuff in, and I don't think I can record that. So obviously, bolt, 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 and then one above that you can't see, and the other side's the exact same. And I should probably mention that as I'm starting these bolts, the jack is still supporting it. So. Alright, so once you get, I've got every bolt in but the very top one that you can't see right now. Once you get that many bolts in, you should be able to release it from the jack, because in the car the only thing that holds this up is the transmission mount in there. Tiny bit more room, not very much though. You can see, hand just barely fits. Had to get it off with the crowbar. I used like a really stubby ratchet. It's only about that long. I don't have it here. It should be hopefully on its way. But I used a really stubby ratchet and a pry bar to get enough torque. So other than that, all these ones I just put on with 1/4-inch drive short socket. That way I don't over tighten them on accident. Yeah, you can see it is all hanging up in there. once you get that bolt, I will get that bolt tight. Then you can start plugging stuff back in. Just remember, you can kind of just follow the wires and see where they were. Like that one just clipped on there. This little helper mount was right there. And then this plug goes right there. I'm not quite ready to plug that in. And this wraps around here. And see how easy it is to tell. Since everything's just a fixed length, it's really easy to tell where everything goes. And now I can replace this. So I will replace that too with the old one that came off of it, since that one is obviously smashed to shit. I mean, it would probably still work because it doesn't look like the connectors are broken, but I'll use the old one and hopefully they'll send us a new one. I don't fucking know. Yeah, that thing, they shipped this the shittiest way. And I soaked all these bolts in gasoline to clean them. You can see there's still some old Loctite, but that should be fine because that's obviously where it stops. The only threaded in up to there. These are all the driveline bolts, all the driveline keepers, or whatever those are. And gosh, well, I don't know what I'm trying to think right now. Oh my gosh, those little bolts are an E6. And one word of caution that I did not realize is that holds in fluid. When I took mine off the other, I took it off the other transfer case, but it was after I emptied it, no fluid came out. I don't know if fluid's supposed to come out of there because it was bone dry on mine. So now I'm concerned, but either way, I'm in deep shit because this is someone else's driveway. And he's like the nicest person on the planet, but he did tell me very specifically, if you do anything with fluid, his voice got really low. He said, if you do anything with fluid, make sure you got cardboard down. So he really didn't want me spilling on his driveway. I did not think I was doing anything with fluid. I thought I was completely done with fluid until I actually checked the fluid. Oh man, I'm in deep shit. There is an O-ring on there. I just used a little bit of the transmission fluid that was pouring out all over me to lubricate the O-ring as I put it in. And then you do kind of have to tap it in. And then but as you can see, it's not quite flush yet. So I'm going to be very careful and just kind of tighten these. And I've pushed it in as much as I can. I'm hoping when I tighten these, if I'm really careful, I can just slowly pull it in. I'll let you know if that works out or not. Or if I just snap this one in half too, gosh, that would be cool. Okay, so yeah, that works, just to tap it in there the best I could, and then just very, very carefully, just a tiny bit at a time, just tighten each bolt until it pulled itself in. And the last part to put on is this guy. I'm guessing this is for vibration or something, just to dampen vibration. Really not sure, but I'm gonna put it back on. Even though I could save like a whole pound, man. I could save a whole pound not putting this on. Goes right there next to the drive shaft mount. These are 10mm bolts, and obviously it's real easy. They're all the same bolt. Put them in that hole. Yeah, just kidding. So those are 13mm bolts, but that's what it looks like once it's in there. Not sure how important that is, but it's there. Don't forget to plug that guy in. Let's see. So, get the. Let's see if I can line it up right. Yeah, that's right. Okay. So the red clip part goes towards the driver's side, Oops. Get it on there and then push that clip in. Maybe. And then this, once you get it on there all the way, you gotta slide this red clip up. So if it doesn't slide up, then I got something going on here that shouldn't be. Okay, so it is slid up. Doesn't click or anything, you just kind of go till it stops, I guess. Okay, yep. Not sure how much I love that. All right, so, oh, and there's this tube. Remember that we had hanging here. Pull that off of there. Put that on. So now, I think it's a good time just to start it up real quick. Don't put it in gear or anything. Just start it up and see. Make sure there's no drivetrain codes or anything with those motors. So I don't want to get super far and then find out that something was wrong. So it thinks it's an all-wheel drive low. So that's probably not good. So I might need to turn that. And the traction control light's on. So that is interesting. Alright, so I got it fixed. All I did is this is the broken one obviously, but I just took the motor back off and it was sitting like that. And this fits into a slot obviously on the transfer case. And all I did was turn this the exact opposite way and put it all back together, and now the 4 low light is not on anymore. So hopefully that doesn't come back in the end, but so far so good. It thinks it's in 4 high again, which is where it should be. As you can see, it's dark. I've been at this for a while. I definitely see why people want $4,000 plus for this job. So the video's not going to be that great anymore. The rear drive line, I put that carrier in first. You can, I don't know if I'm even showing that. Okay, yeah. Put the carrier in first, and then did as many of the rear bolts as I could, and as many of the front bolts as I could reach. And then in the front, same thing. Obviously, I haven't done it yet, but I made sure to clean those threads out really well. So brake parts cleaner and like a pipe brush. Make sure they're nice and clean so the thread locker can do its job. But then you just line a bolt up. If this makes sense. The front and rear are going to be the same. Get this up here and line a bolt up. And I just put one in dry, no thread locker or anything. Put 2 in, put 2 in dry. And then once I know I've got 2 in and they're going in, just really easy hand tight. Then I put the thread locker and the washer on and put the bolt in. And then of course take those 2 out and thread lock them. But this is the part where it's going to be really nice to have someone to help, because you need someone on this car. Someone has to be in the car to put it in neutral, and then then you can do as many as you can, get them as tight as you can, and then rotate it, and then have them hold the brake and get those as tight as you can, and rotate it and just check every bolt several times, rotate it and check them, and then you should be good. can't really show that process, but at least I kind of tried to explain it. All right, so this has not been fun, but it's basically done. I put all the heat shields back on, so there's the one heat shield there. There's just those E10 Torx, and then this heat shield here. And there's actually one that goes on the, oh geez, there actually is one that goes right there, but I don't have it here. That's at my house. But heat shields, gosh, I shouldn't have to explain heat shields. They're heat shields. It's a 7/16 socket. You'll need like a deep wall socket for it, because the stud sticks through. And sorry, I'm halfway asleep at this point. I've been out here for a long time. The only thing that sucks is I lost one of the washers. You can see those two bolts are loose because, man, light, I lost the washer. So I got to figure that out, but everything else can still go back together. So I'm just kind of putting everything else back together. And then, man, if you have to take your rear muffler off, you will more than likely break the bolts like I did. But 3/8 bolts with some flat washer and drive nuts go right in. So the bolt, or the stud that comes in it, looks like the other half of this. Oh, looks like this. So that's the stud that's in there from the factory, and that's the nut and the end of it that broke off. If that happens, it's actually a pretty easy fix. You just drive this out. It takes a pretty good whack. But yeah, just hit it a few times and it'll come out. And then I just replaced it with, let's see what I get. I got a 3/8 by 1.25" flange hex bolt, and then of course just the 3/8 torque nuts. And I tried to put a lock washer on there just for a little extra lock on there, but the bolts weren't long enough, so you have to get like 1.5 inches if you want to put lock nuts on there with a flat washer. But I am to the point, since I purposely left the washer off of those ones because those are still accessible with the transmission mount on. So I can put the transmission mount on. Gotta start by, I'll put the jack right here, and just jack that up. Then I can take this jack stand out. Then I can put the main transmission mount up. Sorry, I'm so tired. Alright. Yeah. I don't think I'm going to be able to put the transmission mount up on camera because it takes two hands. But it is let's see. Pretty sure they were 5/8. They're 5/8 or 15. I can't remember now. But it's just these. Obviously, the transmission mount itself, and then there's 3 bolts on each side. And I'm going to find out real quick what the size is. I explained it all in the teardown video, but like I said, I'm probably going to have to split this into 2 videos. Seems like a 5/8 fit on all of them, or 5/8 fit on some of them, and a 15 fit on the other, which usually 5/8 and 15s are pretty interchangeable, but not in this case. The actual transmission mount bolts are a 15, and the cross member bolts are a 5/8. The weirdest thing, but whatever, Chrysler, weirdos. All right, so that's what it looks like when it's in. I've got not very good lighting anymore. Okay, there we go. All those 3 are tight. Those 3 are tight. Transmission mount bolts are tight. And then I did that bracket without saying I was going to do the bracket, so it's there. It's the same size bolts. And then got one more bracket. So, something like that. Oh, wait, holes. So that'll look like that. Okay, so there it is. Bracket's in. Everything's mounted. I can let the jack down. Don't worry about this. I was really hoping when I took those, once I started like picking parts up and stuff, I would find that washer that's missing, but no luck there. But as you can see, even with all the brackets in, I can still get to those bolts.